Hi, I'm Jim Bearden, and this is Lesson 12 in Leadership at the Points of Contact, my video program designed to enhance your leadership skills, your effectiveness as an organizational leader. In this section of the program, we're looking at the second of what I see as three key roles that leaders play. In this section, we're looking at the role leaders play for expanding and enhancing employee engagement or participation in crucial organizational processes. In the previous lesson, I shared with you four premises on which the next few lessons will be based. And the next few lessons, starting with this one, are focusing on the things you can do to understand and ultimately deliver the value your employees are seeking. Here are the four premises. The only reason employees will do the things we expect is if they believe they will receive sufficient value to justify their doing so. Number two, they all have their own somewhat unique definitions of value, and those definitions change. Number three, the only way you can know how or even if you can deliver the value they're seeking is by understanding their definition of value. And number four, the only way to ensure that you understand that definition of value is by having them explain it to you. And so what we're going to start looking at in this lesson, and we'll continue for the next several lessons, are the types of questions that you can use for developing that understanding. Before we get to the first type of question, though, there's something you need to remember. Understanding their definitions of value is a process, not an event. Now, here's what I mean by that. Don't expect, when we cover all of these four types of questions, that you can go out and in one setting ask these questions, get all the information you need, and be done. Nothing could be further from the truth. These four questions are designed to be used as tools to initiate and sustain something of an ongoing dialogue with your employees. So don't go into this thinking it's going to be a quick, a one-time event. It's a process. So the four types of questions: what questions, priority questions, clarification questions, and why questions. And in this lesson, we're going to start with the first of the four, the what questions. These are very effective questions for initiating this dialogue. In the what question, you're asking your employees, you're going to ask your employees to describe for you or list for you all of the things that they would like back from your organization in return for the things that you ask them to do or you expect them to do. These questions are designed first and foremost to provoke them to think. And based on having the opportunity to think about it, to share with you the list of the things they want back. Let me just give you an example of the sort of question you might use to initiate this sort of exchange. John, tell me, what are some of the things that you would like to get back from our organization in return for the things we ask you to do? Now, a couple of points to note about this. First, you're asking a very broad, open-ended question, which gives the respondent an opportunity to share facts, opinions, thoughts, feelings. It's a real broad field you're giving them an opportunity to respond to. Two, you're asking them for plurals. Do you understand? What are some of the factors, what are some of the things you want back from us? The implication is what? That there's more than one. As a matter of fact, there's almost always going to be a lot. And your job is to initiate and sustain this process, to create a forum in which your employees are comfortable thinking, okay? You're asking for plurals. You may hear, as a first response, and certainly in the early stages, money and or compensation and or perks. And let me assure you that that most definitely is almost always going to be one of the things they expect back. But let me also tell you that it's almost never going to be the only thing Don't let it be the only thing. When you hear a response, whether it's money or any other response, when they list for you one or two of the things that they expect back, I want you to acknowledge what they've said. Pay attention. Acknowledge that, and then what? Ask them what else, because there are always other things. I want you to persist with this until you get a list. Let's say 3 to 5 items. Now let's look at the action items for this week's lesson. Few of your employees have been asked the types of questions that I'm encouraging you and the other members of your leadership team to ask. So they're probably going to be a bit uncomfortable, especially in the early stages of this process. Likewise, you and the members of your leadership team may also be unfamiliar and a bit uncomfortable with this process. So in order to help you and the other members of your leadership team become more comfortable with and proficient at facilitating the process, I want you guys to answer each of the 4 types of questions yourselves before you start asking your employees to do so. So here's what I want you to do. Make a list of all the things you want back from your organization in return for the things you're expected to do. I'll concede that money and compensation is one of those things. So in addition to your comp package, what are some of the other things you want back from your organization in return for the things you're expected to do? Remember, completing the action items is a huge part of leadership development. I put them in there to help you adapt what we're talking about to your organization. So complete those, would you?